Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the weekly podcast where we discuss business, sports, politics, and whatever's on our mind. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me as always, you know him as my right-hand man. He's the business strategist extraordinaire. He's the super CEO and all-around good guy, Ted Phelps.
Good evening, everyone.
All right.
You like my virtual background?
Yeah, what's going on, man? I mean, what happened to Vegas? What happened to CNN?
Yeah, thought I'd do a virtual background. This is a blank white wall. Yeah, so but you can imagine it to be whatever you want it to be. I could be in Vegas, Hawaii, wherever. So yeah.
So you got to use your imagination, huh?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. So as you can see, we've got our guest here. We'll introduce him in a second. And the thing is, that's not a virtual background. Like he's really there. So we're going to talk about like what he's doing and how he's making that happen. He's got a fascinating story, but this is not your everyday podcast. And you can find us by going to the 30minutehour.net. You can see our website. That's our website. You can go to our Facebook page, which is the 30-minute hour. Shout out to the Instagram crew. We're broadcasting live on IGTV. Shout out to you this week. So Ted, the What Now movement, that thing is just growing and picking up steam.
Man.
Today is Motivational Monday, and Kiana Brown, I mean, she just bought it.
You weren't motivated after that.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it's like I go to conferences, I'm reading books, it's hard for me to be like, okay, wow, yeah, I'm really going to do some different, I'm going to run through a wall now.
Yeah.
But after watching Kiana's Motivational Monday in the What Now movement group, you really will be motivated to take that next step.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah, great information. So everybody needs to go to the What Now movement Facebook group and check out Motivational Monday. And not only is it Motivational Monday, but it's also Marketing Monday.
M&M.
M&M. I'm telling you. I mean, where else can you get M&M? Like the grocery store. But where else can you get M&M?
That's right.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you, Ted, I have a feeling that somebody's going to get their big break. Because it's Marketing Monday.
Yeah.
And they're going to leave their promotional link. They're going to promote their business. They're going to promote their Instagram page. They're going to promote their podcast. They get all these subscribers. Today is going to be the day.
Their book as well.
Their book, absolutely. Absolutely.
You got a book, don't you, Eric?
Ted, it's funny you should mention that. Because that's not something we talk about a lot on this show. But yes, I do have a book. People shouldn't. I'm not going to talk about the book today, though, Ted, because we have a guest here. I'm going to really get to it. All I'm going to say is people just shouldn't procrastinate, right? They should move with the discipline of now. That's all I'm going to say about that.
There's probably how many practical principles to
I heard there's 12
practical principles
to overcome procrastination.
All right.
So now, speaking of the What Now movement, you have this thing we do every week, and it's time for that again. It's called Ted's 2 cents.
It's 2 cents.
And it's so profound this week. The Ted's 2. I had to look at the Instagram folks as I said that. Ted's 2 cents.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. So Ted, why don't you share the 2 cents for this week?
Are you gonna bring it up for him today?
Yeah, let me do that. All right, I'm gonna give you the visual experience. We're gonna go Ted's 2 cents. And if you happen to be listening to the audio recording, you have no idea what I'm doing right now, just use your imagination.
That's right. It's like the virtual background.
Exactly. Take my word for it when I tell you it's here. All right, here we go. Ted's 2 cents.
Let's see, what do we have?
Powerful. All right.
Ted's 2 cents for today is you will make it if you never act like you made it. Keep grinding.
Got to keep grinding.
If you never act like you made it, right? So that means that you're always just pushing. Like you just always got to be thinking, Eric, that you're not there. Right? Like you're never there, right? Like there's always room for improvement. And if you're thinking like that, I think you'll be successful in anything that you do. Right?
It's so easy to get away from those things that made you successful.
Yeah.
Right. Like I see these athletes that take a stumble and they lose their status. And they always say, you know what? It's harder to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're waking up with silk sheets.
Yeah.
You know, so it's easy to get away from those basic things. This kind of ties into the message for today and what some of the things our guest is going to share. But no, thank you for sharing that. And for everybody, again, every week we try to come with the Ted's 2 cents, just some additional wisdom and motivation to help you to get through the week.
Absolutely.
All right. So Ted.
Yes, sir.
I've got something that's on my mind.
Please share it.
All right. So I want to talk to you just for a moment. This ties into our guest. We're about to introduce him here in a second. I want to talk to you about the simple secret to success.
Simple secret to success.
That's right. The simple secret to success. All right. So now, in 1996, if you were to Google the term loser or the word loser, I think an image of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football helmet would come up, right? So the fans, they were so embarrassed by the state of the organization, they would show up to the games, they would have like a grocery bag on their head. They didn't want you to know that they were fans, that they were out there. That's how bad the organization was. So to make matters worse, there was this unproven NFL assistant coach named Tony Dungy, who just accepted their offer to become the head coach. Right?
What an offer.
Right.
To be the head coach at Tampa Bay.
Right. So he's got this low-key, reserved demeanor, didn't really fit what your expectation was for a coach. He was kind of soft-spoken. His specialty was defense. But unlike his coaching contemporaries, he had this small playbook. It was simple. It was basic. There's only a handful of plays in the playbook. His philosophy was to keep things simple by focusing on the basic habits of his players that they needed to execute on each play. So he presented the same philosophy for all these other teams prior to getting the job, and each of them passed. They said, no, thank you. No, we don't want you. So obviously the Buccaneers, they were making a big mistake by hiring Dungy, right?
Right.
Wrong. He transferred the Buccaneers into one of the league's winningest teams. He took this same philosophy to the Indianapolis Colts, another organization where they used to wear bags on their head before he got there, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, both teams, after the year after he left, went to the Super Bowl. Like he left them in such good position, they didn't need him anymore. They went to the Super Bowl even without him. So the question is, what was the simple secret to success? And that's the question.
Simple secret.
Right. So here is the point where you need to get off the treadmill.
That's it.
You know, pull over to the side of the road.
Put the ham sandwich down.
Put the ham sandwich down. Here is the simple secret to success. You have to become brilliant at the basics.
Brilliant at the basics.
That's it. You have to master the basics. You have to become brilliant at the basics. Here's what he said. They asked him about this. He said, look, champions don't do extraordinary things. They do ordinary things, but they do them without thinking too fast for the opponent to react. Like most successful teams in sports that win, you know what they're going to do. It doesn't matter. You just can't
stop it.
Right. So what Coach Dungy did, he leveraged simplicity.
Mm.
And that really ties into our guest. And we're going to talk about him here in just a second, because he went from being in a broken home to becoming a 7-figure finance entrepreneur who travels the world and uses simplicity to get what we all want. What do we all want, you ask? We all want freedom. So he leverages simplicity. I'm really curious to hear how he does this. So please join me in welcoming to the 30-minute hour, Jermane Cheathem.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Jermane. Hey man, it's an honor to have you on the show. It is certainly an honor. All right. So in your bio, you mentioned coming from a broken home. How did your early experiences shape you into who you are today?
Well, the broken home was a tough experience, just for the simple fact it's kind of a fatherless home, and you really don't know your place in the world and what direction you're really going to head in. So from a very young age, I had to kind of seek out the truth and whatever that truth might mean to me. And it was always left me on this exploration for finding out, like, really, who am I and what am I really capable of? And versus like what society's telling me, or what my neighborhood's telling me, or what my country is telling me, or whatever the outside noise is telling me, I define it for myself. And that led me to kind of follow my fears. And when you follow your fears, good things happen. And so I would always look to things that made me not want to do it, but I knew it'd be good for me. And I would actually chase those things, because I knew on the other side of that, there was nothing, there was no fear. It was all just something in my mind. And once I got past that, I started to get more confident. I started to get more results. And it led me down the path of always finding and seeking out things that scared me and going after that, whether it be entrepreneurship or talking to somebody or in sales or whatever it might be. I just figured out I need to chase my fears, because a lot of these ideas I have about society, about people, about coming from a broken home, having no resources, were all just made up in my mind. I decided to change that narrative.
That's interesting. So you said follow your fears. So you purposely, the things that scared you, you said, okay, so like what's an example of something that you said, okay, man, this really scares me, I need to do that?
Well, for example, I've always thought since I was little, I was like a bad communicator. Like no one understood me. They couldn't understand what I was saying. I didn't make any sense. So I went into sales, like knocking on doors, door-to-door sales. Because I'm like, if this is true, then this ain't gonna work, because they ain't gonna understand what the hell I'm talking about. So I did door-to-door sales at a certain point in my life. And I realized, man, people are cool. They get it. They know what I'm talking about. They know I'm just trying to offer a service to them. So that kind of knocked down that fear. I remember in high school, my freshman year, I'd go home and just sit on the couch and play video games and watch TV. And I'm like, am I just going to do this? Or am I going to go out there and meet new people at my high school? Am I going to go try out for the football team? And am I going to actually engage in life? Or am I just going to be a victim of it? And that was another thing. I didn't want to play football. I didn't want to break my leg and miss basketball season. But, I had to, I was kind of scared of playing football. So shit, I'm going to go play football. And I excelled and I did great. And who would have thought it? But, you follow your fears. You go talk to people. You go make new friends. That's just a couple small examples of where you follow your fears. And next thing you know, you're running an organization where all you're doing is sales, just from, knocking on doors back in the day. And now I do sales for a living, and I'm able to, I'm here in Malaysia and I travel around the world. So without me going towards the fear, I would never be here today.
Wow.
Interesting. So you went to University of Arizona. And so looking back, based off of what you now know, like what advice would you go back and give to yourself?
I don't really think in the past that much, but I guess if I had to say something, it would probably be, you're right where you're supposed to be. Like I would tell my younger self, don't worry about it. You're right where you're supposed to be. Don't worry about anything about where you are currently. where you are is where you're supposed to be, because everything will unfold just in perfect timing. So really don't sweat it. I mean, just kind of go with the flow, and life wouldn't put you where you are unless it was supposed to put you where you are. I don't fight reality. And that's, I think, a very important concept. When you fight reality, you can't accept it. And if you can't accept things, you can't move forward.
So did you find yourself struggling at times, thinking, man, I should be farther ahead? Oh man, I should be doing this. Was that a struggle for you?
Not necessarily farther ahead, but I always felt a certain amount of discomfort with the idea of I don't belong, or I'm not. Where do I fit in this hierarchy of society within everything? I really don't belong here. And if I could tell my younger self, I would be like, don't worry about it. You'll figure this thing out. It takes time. And the truth is, and like you were saying, Ted, it never ends. Like, you're never there. There's no such thing as the end point. You're not at the top of the mountain. There's no such thing. So the day you die, you're always climbing. And that's the beauty of life.
Absolutely.
It's a process. It's not this one event. Everybody's looking.
Hey, Eric, I may have to take that and tweak that for a Ted's 2 cents. The whole thing about the climbing the mountain. I like how you did that, Jermaine.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So like, when did you know that finance, that would be your field, that would be your path?
I guess I always liked money. I didn't really. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm really not a numbers guy. If I don't have a calculator, I'm screwed. But I like money because I like what money gives me. I like the freedom it gives me to do and be and go where I want, and buy things I want and enjoy nice stuff. So that's what was kind of the curiosity with financing. But I mean, really what I do for a living is 99% sales. And to me, sales isn't a 4-letter word. It's just like what we're doing right now. We're just having a conversation, just talking. And you can buy or you don't have to buy. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to talk to somebody else next. And so the finance part is a very small segment of it, but it is like, I wanted to understand how money works so I could use it for my advantage, so I could leverage it and make more money, whether it be, stocks or financial assets or business assets. So I wanted to find out about how money works.
Awesome. So we're here. It's the 30-minute hour. We're talking to Jermane Cheathem. He's the 7-figure entrepreneur. Again, you can watch us on IGTV. You can watch us here on the 30-minute hour Facebook page. So we're talking about your path and how you got to this point. So you're this entrepreneur. Describe for us your ideal client. Like, who are they? Then how do you help them?
So my ideal clients are people that sell medical devices. So, and I mean like medical equipment. So like an ultrasound machine, X-ray machine, dental equipment, anything that's in the medical vet space where they're selling high ticket equipment into these medical clinics. And so what I do is I contact these type of guys and girls, and I just find out, hey, do you use financing as a tool to help you sell more? Because if I'm selling an ultrasound machine and it costs 50 grand, it's much easier for me to go to the doctor and say, hey, you can have a monthly payment of $600 a month instead of shelling out the 50 grand, plus it's 100% tax deductible. So I just team up with those folks that sell the equipment, and I get them to send me their clients so I can do the financing for them.
Okay. All right. And you kind of answered the question, but kind of expound on one of your things. You use leverage. So kind of expound on that. How exactly do you use leverage to run your business?
Well, several ways. Well, with regards to the sales process, I made a major mistake. I used to call the individual doctors separately to try to see if they needed financing. So I'd be making 300 cold calls a day. Wow. It wasn't efficient. It wasn't using leverage. Instead, I decided to start calling the people that sold equipment into the doctor's office. So I could talk to one guy, and he might have a network of 100 doctors he talks to. So I leverage him to get me into those 100 doctors versus me calling all the 100 doctors separately.
That's a great strategy.
Obviously that's one way I use leverage. I mean, I use leverage right now just in my current life. I'm here in Malaysia. I don't own stuff. So the leverage I use is actually minimalism. So I have, you know, a backpack, a big backpack, and that's all I have. And the leverage that gives me is tomorrow or right today, if I need to or I want to, I can travel to Dubai if I wanted to, because I just have the backpack. I don't have a car, a mortgage, all this stuff, clothes, storage. I don't have any of that holding me down physically, financially, mentally. I use leverage as a minimalist to move and kind of flow where I want to in life, because the truth is people don't want stuff. They want experiences, and experiences make you happy, not stuff.
Portability. Wow.
So, like, have you always been this minimalist, or did you get to a point where you said, you know what, I'm just going to sell everything and just be? I mean, how did you arrive at the point where simplicity was your thing?
Yeah, I've never always been any of this stuff. This is all kind of learned because I just got fed up with the narrative that, you know, our society pushes on people that you need more stuff, it'll make you happier. Just not true. And you don't know until you experience it and you realize, you know, the Lexus doesn't make me happy, the houses don't make me happy, the stuff doesn't make me happy. I have all these clothes in my closet and I still only wear 5 shirts. Wow. So what am I doing here? So it was just kind of a process of having a realization. It really comes with like sitting by yourself and thinking about your life and what really brings you value, and kind of pushing away distractions. And you realize you can see really clear the stuff that makes you happy. And I started just selling stuff and getting rid of stuff and selling the house and getting rid of the car. Why would I? If I have Uber, they'll drop me off right at the front, but I don't have to worry about parking, or, you know what I mean? It's like the oil change, screw that. So, you know, it's just you kind of learn by be paying attention to, you know, what you like and what bothers you, and make a change because you're in full control.
That's interesting that you say that, because it really makes you think about everything that we're dealing with the pandemic, right? Like, we're closet full of suits. I don't ever want to wear the suit, right? Like, I mean, just, you know, just kind of going with the flow, doing everything in a real simple, you know, fashion right now. I mean, you're right. I mean, what, you know, you really look at what's really important, what really makes you happy, and it's not the stuff at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I kind of want to go back a little bit. We talked about this thing of following your fears, and you have to be in an industry where you hear the word no quite often, right? Like, that's just part of the game. So, like, on a typical day, like, how many times would you hear the word no?
So if I was making 300 calls a day, I would hear the word no 290 times. So most of the time, yeah. But to me, I never had an emotional attachment to the word no. To me, it was just information. It was like, okay, that's where they're at, so I'm gonna move on. It was never nothing to do with me. And I think sales is like one of the best boot camps to break down your ego, where you're not attached to how people feel about you. And remember what I said earlier, when I was younger, I felt like I wasn't accepted. So going through sales and having all these no's, I kind of could separate my emotional attachment to being accepted to the truth, which is it's just information. That's on them. It has nothing to do with me. They just don't want the service. Cool, keep it moving. So I'm very used to no, and it's just part of the program. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's amazing, because that's the big thing that people have a hard time getting past, just that fear of rejection. I mean, like, you've never had like call reluctance where you just like, man, yeah.
All the time, the time. And know what it has to do with? It's one thing. You're concerned more about how they're going to perceive you versus you're bringing value to them. And one of my things I always tell myself is, I'm not here to please, I'm here to serve. And so if I'm trying to please you, that means I'm going to be scared to call you because I might be interrupting your day, or maybe you don't want my service, or maybe they won't like me. That's me trying to please you versus I'm trying to serve you. I have something very valuable to give you, and I'm going to deliver it to you because I know I'm the best at it. And I'm going to give you the most value you're going to get from this if we can connect. And if you don't see it, that's on you, because you're going to miss out on this opportunity. That's okay.
Good way to think about it. Yeah.
Awesome. And so you basically, you travel, like, how often you travel every week, pretty much a different place, or how does that work?
No, I travel pretty slow. So I'll do usually a month at a time somewhere. With COVID, it kind of put a wrinkle in things because I was I was in Thailand and I was down in Malaysia. I was in Hong Kong, then Thailand, then Malaysia. And then we were going to go over to Bali for a month and then to Australia, but COVID kind of killed all that. So we've been in Malaysia for a few months and just trying to see what opens up where we can allow. They're not really liking Americans right now around the world. So it's kind of tough to find places to get into. So, and I could go back to the States, but I think I'll wait till the new year to see how, everything shakes out over there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interesting. So we're talking about the whole thing with the pandemic, and we have the what now movement, and it's really all about pivoting, right? Mm-hmm. So what are some ways that you've had to pivot and you've had to do things differently from what you would normally do?
Well, I mean, I guess this is a perfect example. I was supposed to literally be in Malaysia for a weekend, and I was just going to spend two days in KL. And then the pandemic happened, and I'm like, oh, I better stay a little longer because they locked everything down. So we stayed a month, and then I moved. Then I was like, well, let me get out of the city. So I moved to another kind of mountainous resort area and stayed there for a month. And then I moved up. I was like, I'm gonna go to the beach. So we took a Uber. They call it Grab out here, but it's an Uber over to this beach area, which where I'm at now. And so my point is, you just have to be fluid and not be so dogmatic on, what your plans were, because that's a word. And what is it now? Things have changed. So it's just kind of have to be fluid with, what kind of roll with the punches. Same thing with sales. If someone says no, you just keep it moving. It's not a big deal. It ain't the end of the world. Pick up the phone or pick up your laptop and make another call or contact or, whatever you need to do. So there's been all types of pivots. That's just kind of a simple, right here, right now kind of example.
Mm. And so you mentioned freedom. So if you really had to come up with a definition of freedom, like what does freedom really mean to you?
Freedom to me, really at the core of it, is freedom from yourself. It's a freedom of who you think you are, this identity that you attach to yourself. That's true freedom, because all these identities you attach to yourself, now you're stuck there. You can never become something else. So once you break down all these identities, you just become, you just, in the Bible, they talk about, God says, I am what I am. That's what they were trying to impart on us. We are what we are. There's no identities. You just are, you're just here. And so that's true freedom, because then you can move and do whatever you want in life without the attachment to what's everybody else going to think about me. And also, how am I going to feel about myself? Because I'm not tethered to this identity that, oh, I'm an attorney, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm an American, or I'm Black, or I'm white, or I'm whatever. It's, I'm just here doing whatever the hell I want to do based on right here in my heart. And I just keep it moving because I follow that. Like, it's like following your fear. The fear is pointing you in the right direction. Don't ignore it. Go towards it.
That's interesting. Like I always, in my workshops, I teach people not to, you have to be careful with which you say, like, I am something, because you're going to act out in accordance to whoever you think you are, right? Yeah. It goes back to that identity thing. Like, even people say, I'm a procrastinator. If you say that enough, you're going to keep procrastinating. Yeah. Is that I think that's a great point. So, I mean, was there a specific thing that you found yourself stuck to that you had to really work to break free?
I mean, I work at this every day, so it's like always something new that I feel stuck to. Podcasting is another kind of a new thing that I'm doing. And it's like, I always felt kind of stuck where I can't do that. Like, who's gonna want to listen to me? Or, I don't want to, this is not something that I want to do. And I always realized it's not that I don't want to do it. There was a fear attachment to that, where I'm scared to put myself out there and talk to people and explain my story and just be in the world, like just be like we were talking about, I am what I am. There was fear attached there. And so what do? You go towards it. You start doing it. You start talking to people. But every day it's something new. It could be as simple as going to the gym and you're like, I just don't feel like doing it. It's always emotion for some reason that's always involved with these fear ideas. Yeah. And you realize, do what you know you're supposed to do, what's in your heart, and just get started small. Like you were saying about, simplicity in your quote earlier. Start small. Just do something small, and guess what? Momentum happens. Momentum always happens from action, never from thinking about it.
That's interesting that you say that about, you use the example of a podcast. I'm sure Eric thought about this as well. For years, Eric and I have been friends, and we've thought about wanting to do something together, and we just never knew what it was. And we'd always just give a whole bunch of thought to it. And then just one day we had just gotten together at a Starbucks and we're like, let's do a podcast. And the guy that was there that we were meeting with had done it before. He was a millennial. And we said, how do you do it? And he said, oh, just download this software or whatever. I said, okay, let's pick a day. We're going to do it next week. And then we're just going to start. And now we're how many episodes in, Eric?
This is number 75.
So, and it's just jumping in. And like you said, just some movement, and movement, came momentum, and we just been doing it ever since. And I don't think we thought that anybody would really want to listen to us. So right now we have 3 to 4 followers, and we appreciate those 3 to 4 followers that check us out every week.
Exactly.
Thanks, Mom, for watching.
And well, the funny thing, what you said, Ted, is you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
That's the most important part about it, is you guys are having fun. And no matter what you do in life, to me, if you ain't having fun, what are you doing? You better figure out how to make it fun, or you should better do something else, because life's too short to not have fun. And people naturally gravitate towards people that are having fun. So I don't care if it's sales or podcasting or anything in the world, everything comes to you when you're having a good time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people get caught up in this trap, right? Where they get sold that, like with a franchise, they get sold, hey, you know what? It's turnkey. You're gonna make money, but they don't really like the business.
Mm-hmm.
They're not having fun. So now they just purchased a job, as opposed to getting into something, like you said, that you're passionate about.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be more willing to put it. It's time. Like Ted, I mean, doing a podcast is time consuming, right? But
It's
hopefully
time
not like it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the time to do it, it just comes around so quickly. Eric and I was talking about it. It was like, man, we just finished doing one. It's time to do another one. But, I wouldn't trade it, right? It's a chance you get to hang out with my friend, and we get to just talk about stuff and talk to great people like yourself. And then, we enjoy what we're doing. Hopefully others will have an opportunity to enjoy it as well. But if not, we're having a great time, aren't we?
At least we're enjoying it.
That's
Hopefully
right.
you are too. All
That's
right.
right.
So Jermane, you're offering a master class, right?
Mm.
So talk about that. I mean, what will people get by attending your master class?
Well, so, I live this crazy lifestyle, and I started to realize about a year and a half ago, anyone can do what I do. Like in my business model, anybody can do it. So how can I start putting down procedures in a blueprint to show people exactly what I do? And hopefully they can emulate it and do exactly, and travel and make money and do all the fun stuff. And so I started to put this down. So we put together a course, step by step, a blueprint of exactly what I do. And so the master class explains my business model, how we do it, and gives you these kind of nuanced secrets that we use and utilize to create leverage and make it simple, easy, and fun. And we just want to educate people on these kind of concepts, ideas, what we do for a living, how we do it. And then if people do want to take us up on learning about it further and do the course, great, we're happy to have you. We're doing a small class to start with, and hopefully build it from there and give people this opportunity. But the masterclass really is to learn about the business model and how they can implement some of these strategies in their life, even if they don't go into the course. And that's really what the masterclass is an introduction to the course and what we do.
That's great.
Awesome. So, I mean, you're doing big things. You're traveling the world. You've got a successful business. You're offering this masterclass. What's next on the horizon for you?
I mean, right now I'm just focused on getting people to do the course and make sure they're successful. That's really the first thing on the horizon. And then I have a website called Creators Learn, and that's where the course is actually at. And I want to build out Creators Learn because my whole philosophy on life is either you're a creator in life or you're a victim. That's the only thing I see in people. I don't see black and white, male and female, American, Chinese. I see creators and I see victims. You can choose what side of the fence you want to be on. So the platform is called Creators Learn. So it's a place that people that consider themselves creators and they want to build their future and make their future happen. They can go there and get resources on, business ideas and strategies and mindset, whoever wants to be on that platform. I want to build it out for those type of individuals. So that's kind of part of this business finance blueprint masterclass course as well. But that's kind of my vision for the next 3 years, is try to get that ramped up. And I just want to help people because I've been fortunate enough to have people come in my life and help me with ideas and concepts and opportunities. And what my business is a very niche kind of secret. Nobody knows about this finance industry. Everyone thinks that people go to the bank for loans. No, the banks work with people like me. And I want to share that with other people to realize there's an undercover industry you don't even know about that you could be capitalizing on and do it from your laptop and cell phone.
Wow. I need to sign up for your master class.
That's it. That's it.
They were like, Eric, where are you? I'm at this master class.
I'm in this master class. That's right. That's right.
You said something that really I want you to expound on. You said you can either be a creator or you can be a victim. What do you mean by that? Expound on that.
Well, life happens to everybody, right? Things happen. So you have two choices. It's never what happens to you, it's what you do about it. So you can take a victim mentality or you can create something beautiful. Like for example, COVID happened. I could be a victim and be like, this sucks. I can't go on my cruise to Bora Bora. I can't go to Australia. I can't go to this. My business this. I'm stuck in here. I can't fly home. Things are going on in America. The president's doing this. Whatever. You can be a victim or you can make something happen. And I'm like, what a perfect opportunity to share what I do with other people. Let's get this Trump tight. Let's get this program up. Let's get this course going. Let's use this opportunity to create something beautiful. And I always feel like if everybody in the world tapped into whatever's beautiful music inside of them and built something from that, we could all enjoy it. But unfortunately, some people are victims and they don't create anything beautiful. So that's what I mean by you can be a creator or a victim. That's the only two choices you have. And that's all I see in people. I don't care about your color or your country or your gender. I don't care anything about that. I care about, are you creating something beautiful or are you going to be a victim and try to destroy?
Wow, that's interesting that you say that. One of the things that I always say is that you can wait for it to happen or you can make it happen. Right? And
only options you have.
That's it. And then kind of going back to, again, some of the things, like we have created more stuff during this pandemic, right? Like we were talking about, hey, we want to try to do some type of conference or something. We're like, well, it's a pandemic. We can't get people together. What now? Let's create the What Now movement. And then that started that. And then we look at how that is, just kind of just has grown over the past, several months to well over 1,000 participants and all kind of great digital content that's come out. And it was just really from the mindset of, this is what we're going to do. And a lot of people now, okay, when things get back to normal, I mean, again, what is that? Like, these are the cards you got right now, right? How you gonna play these cards? What are you gonna do right now? Because, I mean, what are you talking, 2025? I mean, what are you talking about when you're talking about back to normal? I mean, you gotta adjust to where you are now and just go with it. So everything that you're saying, I totally agree with.
It's like either you live in the moment or you don't, because everyone's saying, oh, 2020 is the worst year ever. I can't wait for 2021. Guess what? January 1st is going to come up and you're going to be in the same place because you never did nothing. Like you were saying, it could be 2025. We don't know. All we have is today, this moment. And your future is built on what you do in this moment, just like us having this conversation right now. This has a ripple effect to other people, and everything you do in every moment of your life, you got to think about it that way.
Man, you got me ready to go get a backpack. I might see you out in Malaysia, man. I'm all pumped up, man. But I got a mortgage, so I don't think I can just walk away from it like that.
It's a good time to sell.
Right. Now, Eric, and you really can't just walk away like that. You got.
Yeah, that'd be a little tricky for me. That'd be a little tricky. unless I have 3 other people coming with me.
But you'd have to have 3 other backpacks, or either one huge backpack.
But Daddy, what is Malaysia? So,
did you say mayonnaise, Dad?
no, I'm telling you, I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's a reason if you look at a lot of successful companies, they were started during a downturn.
Mm.
It was like the Great Depression. It was the 2008 financial crash, because somebody looked at the same opportunity that somebody was being a victim about, that people were complaining. They say, what can I create? How can I pivot? How can I leverage this? So no, I think there's something to be said. And I agree with you 100% on the whole creator or victim piece.
Yeah.
For sure. So how can our followers best connect with you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn, or they can find us at creatorslearn.com. That's the best places. I really don't do a whole lot of social media. That's kind of like one of my minimalistic things. If, you know, maybe in the future, who knows, but as of right now, that's the best 2 places.
Keep it simple. Right.
Keep it simple, man.
He's brilliant at the basics. He's simplicity. All right.
For sure.
Well, cool. All right. So we're about to go around the horn, right? This happens to be Ted's favorite part of the show.
My favorite part of the show. I mean, just favorite part of the show.
Because this is where we actually, each of us will take a turn leaving like a final thought that we want people to remember about the show, words to live by, that type of thing. So Jermane, as the guest, we'll start with you. What is your final thought that you want to leave the people with?
I guess just the fact that you're gonna die. And if you're gonna die, what are you scared about? You know, what are you scared of? It doesn't make any sense to live small or to think you can't, because there's nothing to do except follow your heart and your intuition and your gut. And if it tells you to do something, that little voice that first whispers at you when you first wake up and like right before you go to bed, listen to that, because it's telling you where to go and what to do and how to create it, or what the first steps are. And it's just, it just follow that, because you're gonna die. And you don't want to be that guy on your deathbed, or that girl thinking to yourself, man, like I had all this opportunity. I could have done stuff. I could have done whatever I wanted to, but instead I was scared of what other people thought, or I wasn't good enough, or whatever it is. Like, always remember you're gonna die. So that should give you not like a morbid sense, but a sense of, I have nothing to lose. Because the truth is, nothing matters. Nothing matters. Like nothing. Like if I bombed on this podcast and people hated me, who cares? It doesn't matter. If my business goes bankrupt, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like nothing matters. And then once you have that realization, nothing matters, that gives you the power to do anything you want, because it doesn't matter. So you can actually chase the things you want to chase, the things that matter to you, because it doesn't matter, because you do it. It actually gives you the freedom to do stuff. So that was a long-winded way to say you're going to die. So chase the things that matter, because things don't matter.
That's awesome. Well, Ted.
Again, it's always a tough act to follow, Jermane. I always get to go after the guest. Just a couple of key things. I mean, we talked about being, brilliant at the basics to kind of start this off. Talked about having fun. Instead of waiting for something to happen, just make it happen. I mean, I guess all this is kind of goes back to just the whole concept around just not overthinking it, not making things more difficult than they really are. And like you were saying before, chasing your fears. I mean, I just think if more of us started thinking like that, I'm sure that we'd be more fulfilled in life. And then we'd learn some more things about ourselves that we never knew that we could be great at. And so I think that you've shared a lot for our listeners today on just, it's all a mindset, right? And then changing the way that you think about this stuff. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it like you did. Just, I mean, you're gonna die, right? So I mean, I guess that's That's real. That's true, right? So I mean, enjoy it, make stuff happen, don't overthink it, and I guess be fearless in it. So yeah, thank you for that.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot to pull from this episode as far as just kind of the around the horn piece. I just keep going back to this idea of following your fears. And I just believe that like everybody should have an experience in life or a season where they have to go door to door for like a year. You just have to, and you just have to. I don't care what happens. You just have to get rejected, door slammed in your face.
It's humbling.
It's humbling, but I guarantee you come out on the other side where you're not afraid of the word no.
Yeah.
There's the saying that says that yes is the destination and knows how you get there. Right. But if you can overcome that fear, I mean, literally you can become unstoppable.
Yeah.
If you're oblivious to the word no, think about what you can accomplish.
Yeah. No fear.
Yeah, right. So if you follow your fears, I mean, you get on the other side, you'll have something wonderful in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm inspired now. I'm ready.
I said, let's get those backpacks, man. Let's get those backpacks. We're going to get out there with Jermane in Malaysia and just go with it.
People are going to be looking at my Facebook like, Twigs is in Malaysia. What is he doing?
Jermane, what time is it in Malaysia right now?
Let's see, it's like almost 8 a.m.
I thought Jermane was going to be like, time doesn't matter. Who cares about time?
It doesn't matter what time it is.
It doesn't matter. Why are you asking me about time? It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 a.m., 8 p.m. It's whatever time it is. I'm still awake. So I'm not dead. Let's just go. Let's just go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Man, this has been great, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing what you shared. And I know you shared it already, but one more time, because I want people to get your master class, and I think you can really help a lot of people. Please leave your contact information one more time for the people.
Yeah, so creatorslearn.com, or you can just find me on LinkedIn.
Creatorslearn.com, or you can find him on LinkedIn.
And Jermane, you have to come back and visit us another day as you're doing your travels, man, because I'm just sure that you just have some amazing stories from each of your destinations. So if you would.
No, I'd love to be back. That'd be great, guys.
Great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, this has been another amazing episode of the 30-Minute Hour podcast.
Episode 75, you said?
75.
Man, we should have done something big for the 75th episode.
We should have broadcast from Malaysia or something.
Something. Man. We got to, man, that's like an anniversary. Like that's a major, like monumental number, 75.
Yeah, man, maybe we'll say that for 100.
Yeah,
we got to do something big for 100.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll do some big virtual celebration.
Yeah, there you go.
From Malaysia.
But now it's rolling right along. But it's like we said, I mean, it's about one step at a time. Did we start on the 75th episode?
No.
We started on episode 1.
Episode 1. No training. I think we may have read a couple things on the internet, maybe. We just jumped out there.
Just did it.
It's the best way to do it, man. Just follow your heart, man. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
And it's good that we're talking about this because there's somebody, you know who you are. You're supposed to start a podcast.
That's right.
You might be on Instagram, you may be on, it's time for you to get your brand out there on this podcast, and you're dragging your feet because you're trying to overcomplicate this thing.
That's right. Don't do it at 7 o'clock Eastern on Monday. I'll do it. Find you another time to do it.
Find another time. That's right.
That's right.
Make sure you're watching us at 7 o'clock Eastern.
That's right. We're trying to help you win.
That's right. Exactly. Good for you. But that's our show for this week.
Absolutely.
Definitely shout out to our guest, Jermane Cheathem. He's doing big things. Check out his master class.
Yeah.
Till next week, have a great one.